No, those of you that...
So we don't do one, the ones that's going?
No.
Oh.
Oh, DJ. She has Dino, so it's for Dino, D-I-N-O.
DJ.
What?
Whenever you're ready.
My name is Thomas Romanin. Today I'm going to talk about skateboarding. A lot of you have probably stepped on a skateboard before, but not skated as a sport like myself and many other people do. From being at skate parks throughout my life, I've realized that people of all ages do this. Believe it or not, the ages range from 6 to 40-year-olds. I'm going to talk to you about what a skateboard is, the history of skateboarding, and the culture of skateboarding. First, I'm going to talk about what a skateboard is. Skateboarding has first evolved in the 1950s when people started to build them at home. Most of the time, people would just attach old roller skates to a wooden board. According to the book Skateboarding History, From the Backyard to the Big Time, published in 2002, the first skateboards that were sold were made by random companies throughout California. These skateboards consisted of a wooden deck, which had a square end called the tail and a rounded end called the nose. The truck, which is the part that connects the board to the wheels, were made of metal, as were the wheels themselves. Even today, skateboards are very similar in design, but are constructed of a high-tech material that are engineered for tricks and speed. The newly developed skateboard consists of a wooden deck that is much lighter and more flexible than the old solid boards. The addition of grip tape, which is like sandpaper on the top of the board, allows for better control of the skateboard. The trucks are still metal and lighter and have bushings so you can steer the skateboard with your weight are attached to wheels made of polyurethane with special bearings for more speed. Now that you know what a skateboard is, I'm going to talk about the history of skateboarding. As mentioned earlier, skateboarding has been around since the 1950s, but cities and private businesses did not start building public skate parks until the 1970s. This was mainly to get skaters away from the public areas and the concrete of downtown, which skaters used to perform their tricks. According to Time Magazine's 2006 article, It's All in the Swoop, during the 1980s, skate parks started to close due to underuse and high insurance costs of injuries to skaters. For unknown reasons, skateboarding made a comeback in the 1990s, which in turn put pressure on the cities to reopen and build new skate parks. Due to the expanding popularity of skateboarding, ESPN decided to showcase skateboarding along with mountain biking, windsurfing, and bungee jumping in the first Summer X Games in 1993. These games were created to introduce the talents of extreme athletes in action sports to the world. In the book, Skateboarding in the X Games, published in 2002, the author states that nearly 200,000 spectators attended the first X Games, which showed how popular extreme sports like skateboarding have become. The X Games, which are still around today and more popular than ever, helped to expand the sport of skateboarding in the youth and to the youth in the United States. In general, skateboarders have created their own culture apart from other sports like football and baseball. Lastly, I'm going to talk about the culture of skateboarding. Culture is defined as the customs, arts, social institutions, and achievements of a particular social group. In this case, I'll be talking about the culture of skateboarding. Culture is, in the article written by Beal and Weidman titled Authenticity in the Skateboarding World, the author's research identified two central values of skateboarding culture: participant control and the devaluing of competition. Unlike traditional sports, skateboarding is not organized and run by adults. Instead, because of the lack of authority, many skaters are attracted to the sport because they make their own decisions about the sport, about the activity. Skateboarding is seen by most members as a non-competitive and an individual sport. This can be observed by the de-emphasis of competition in skateboard magazines. Most ads feature pictures of sponsored skaters in action in natural settings such as parks and schoolyards. Picturing the skateboarders in a natural setting as opposed to as a sponsored competition projects the individual, non-competitive culture of the sport to the reader. Skateboarding culture also has its own companies that produce a certain type of clothing line, often with endorsements by professional skateboarders. There seems to be a contradiction in that skateboarders project a nonconformist identity, yet they buy into the marketing of the skater look. In conclusion, the skateboard, which was originally homemade, has evolved into an engineered product built with high-tech materials that allow skateboarders to be creative with their tricks. Skateboarding has a relatively short history compared to other sports, such as many of the individual Olympic sports, but has evolved quickly because of the technological advances in the materials that skateboards are produced from. Over the years, skateboarding has been a sport that attracts young people who excel individually at the sport in a non-competitive environment without adult interference. Now that you have learned more about the skateboard, its history, and the culture of skateboarding, I hope that when you see a skater around town, you might understand the motivation for skateboarding.